Up next is a story on intellectual property in ASEAN. ASEAN countries seek cooperation on intellectual property ahead of the ASEAN Economic Community in 2015. Representatives of each country's intellectual property divisions meet twice annually at the special meeting of the ASEAN Working Group on Intellectual Property Cooperation. This year's meeting, hosted in Thailand, outlined the work program from 2012 to 2015, according to Thitapha Wattana Priti Paisan, head of the ASEAN Secretariat's Competition, Consumer Protection, and Intellectual Property Rights Division. Some of the agenda include speeding up the examination of patent applications in the region. The regional cooperation on intellectual property rights will position ASEAN as an attractive destination for investment, Thitapha said.
When we're talking about intellectual property rights, it's also bringing the regions like we join the global IP systems. We have the IP systems that is really conducive and it's easy and for any investor coming to ASEAN.
Thailand's Director General of the Department of Intellectual Property and also chairperson of the meeting, Pachima Thanasanti, commented on the region's intellectual property cooperation.
Why we have the meeting like this? Because we want to share experience together, and we want to send the information work together. Because in 2015 we will have more and more. For example, we will have the database on traditional knowledge for each country, and we will link together. And we will have the system of aspect. Aspect is is the one of the process to register a patent is easily by use the examiner the same education and the same level, and we will change about the application together. It will be quite good and easy to to register.
She said Thailand have laws protecting intellectual property for more than 20 years. The most important being copyright, followed by patent and trademark. For Thailand, she said one of the concerns at the meeting is the enforcement at border control to avert piracy and copyright infringement. Similar to Thailand, the Philippine intellectual property system also covers trademark, patents, and copyrights. The Philippines Director General of the Intellectual Property Center, Ricardo Blancaflor, spoke on what is uniquely the intellectual property of the Filipinos.
Well, Filipinos are famous for songs, so that would be copyright. We're also famous for food and food products, that would be trademarks. And we have some patent covering agricultural machinery and of course certain pharmaceutical products.
Food products made in the Philippines include famous ice cream brand Magnolia, beer brand San Miguel, and restaurant called Jollibee, to name a few. He spoke of the challenges involving intellectual property in the Philippines.
Well, we have a whole range of challenges. One of them would be coordinating all the enforcement efforts to curtail piracy and counterfeits. The other would be getting the rest of government to work with the IP offices. But I guess the biggest challenge really is getting across to the rest of the 95 million Filipinos what IP is all about and the appreciation of IP.
Likewise, representative from the Directorate General of the Intellectual Property Rights in Indonesia, Didi Mia Yusanti, also mentioned the challenges of making their fellow citizens aware of intellectual property.
Yeah, the problem is usually the culture of Indonesian people. The culture of Indonesian people is more communal, while intellectual property is a private right, personal right. And you know that Indonesia is a big country with a very big population, and that's one of the challenge is how to disseminate IP to the Indonesian public, the importance of IP, how they can make use of IP to their benefit.
The other challenge, she said, is the enforcement to eliminate the infringement on intellectual property. Indonesia has big potential in geographical indication, or products unique because of location and geographic condition, according to Yusanti. She said Indonesia has 8 registered geographic indication, one of which is coffee. She said ASEAN countries have common needs regarding intellectual property, and the region can work together to increase the ability and skills of patent, trademark, and industrial design examiners. Hopefully, intellectual property will be one of the issues to receive much cooperation among ASEAN countries, especially with the AEC approaching in 2015. Weena Jongprasit, ASEAN TV.